Welcome back into Wave 3 Listens Live. I'm Michael Vanover. I'm joined now by a face that many people probably recognize. It's Lee Coleman, the co-founder of Hughes Coleman Injury Lawyers.
Michael,
how are you?
I'm good today. Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. So I know a lot of people have heard of your firm, but for the folks that maybe have not or maybe don't know all the details of all the things that you guys offer, can you give us a little bit background on Hughes Coleman?
My partner and I have been together since 1985. We've had offices in Louisville since I think 1995, and we do mainly injury work. Wide variety of injury works. Recently, we were involved in one fireworks case, and I think that may be why you all want to talk about it. But people have been injured, various things. We're across Kentucky, and we'll try to help.
You guys have been around for a long time, and that always means a lot, especially to this community, so we appreciate that. As we were talking about off camera, and I teased it earlier in the show, fireworks safety is incredibly important, and this is the biggest firework weekend of the year, of course, with 4th of July coming up. Talk about how important it is for homeowners that are watching right now to take precautions this weekend.
I think it's important from a personal level for the homeowner, but you know, I've had kids and grandkids, and you know, we all know about fireworks, but from our end of it, seeing it after people get hurt, and then looking at some of the statistics, I mean, it can happen so quickly. So we believe in a lot of precautions. The main thing is, you know, adult supervision. If you're going to enjoy fireworks, you know, I would encourage people, you know, get the adults involved. You know, the kids want to shoot them, but you can't let them. You just can't. The injuries can happen too quickly. And then there's some other rules. If it's your home and you're having fireworks shot off, you need to know what that's about.
Yeah, so a lot of times people they want to host the party, right? They want to have the biggest and the best fireworks, and again, you have the challenges with the children that you're speaking of. But some people may not know, if you're having the party at your home, does that mean that you're liable if something goes wrong and let's say another adult gets hurt or what have you? How does that work?
Well, at that point, you're going to have to break down how does the injury happen. If the injury is because of the fireworks, if an injury is because of a firework, using the fireworks going off, then Kentucky has strict liability on the homeowner if the homeowner knowingly allows it. So if you're putting on the party, it's your party, you bring people over, even if you're not the one shooting them off, which was the situation, the case we handled recently, then you are going to be liable for the injuries that the fireworks cause. Now, any other type of injury, somebody, you know, falls or whatever, then there are other rules that come into play about whether the homeowner is responsible for that. So let's just talk about the fireworks. And it's because of the strict liability, you need to know what's going on and be careful. You know, it's not enough to say, well, I didn't do it.
Right, yeah. Well, it wasn't me. Well, if it was on your property, it becomes your problem. Now, you talked about some ongoing litigation or a case that you maybe have had before. This isn't something that we just talk about, right? This is actually happening. So can you touch on just your experience when actually navigating those waters?
Right, and this is just last year. You know, this is not something we're talking about that happened in, you know, 1992 or whatever. This is last year. And it was a homeowner who's, like a lot of them, said, hey, you know, we're going to shoot off some fireworks, come on over. And it was a young lady with her husband sitting a safe distance away, you know, safe distance. What is that? But then a young person shooting off bottle rockets, and exactly why he did it or how it happened, but shot the bottle rocket toward her. Wasn't a homeowner, but it was somebody the homeowner knew was there. He knew what was going on, and exploded in her face, and she ended up losing vision in one eye. She's legally blind in one eye. And, you know, you can call her an innocent bystander. She thought she was a safe distance away, and she would have been had the fireworks been shot up in the air. But for whatever reason, the young fellow shooting off the fireworks was careless and shot him in her direction. And the homeowner was responsible, as well as the young fella who was shooting the fireworks.
Yeah, so neither would be innocent in this case, right? The homeowner, again, who wasn't involved but was present for that. Right.
Again, you know, fireworks are bombs, and there are special rules when dealing with explosive devices, and Kentucky is strict liability. It's different than a car wreck, you know, where you have to prove somebody wasn't careful enough or whatever. And this, if it happens, you're liable.
All right, so people watching right now, they may say, well, I'm hosting a party and now I'm getting nervous and all this stuff. What advice would you give to homeowners? What are some helpful tips that you might be able to give them if they're going to shoot them off this weekend?
So I want to say this the right way. I would tell you, make sure your insurance is paid up. I mean, because if you have homeowners insurance and something happens, you want to be protected, and that's what your homeowner's insurance should be for. Number two is common sense all the time. You can start out with common sense, and then maybe there's some beer or something involved, and then late in the day, people start getting a little looser. Common sense from start to finish, and adults handling the fireworks. Those would be my main things that I would say. So.
Yeah, we've got some tips up on the screen right now from you guys, and this is all good stuff. You said it earlier, and then you just said it again, but I think sometimes, and you nailed it, as the day goes on,
absolutely,
the decision making gets clouded, people get looser, beer, what have you. The thing that cannot get clouded, though, you cannot let these kids touch these fireworks, right? I mean, it
happens so quick,
and it happens all the time, unfortunately.
Happens so quick, and fireworks in your hand, the little firecrackers, if they go off in your hand, if your hand's open, you might be okay, but there are different rules. If your hand is closed, then think of a cherry bomb, the gunpowder inside. So all these things come on, even the little sparklers, a little sparkler in somebody's hand, if a kid's around with a sparkler and gets in another kid's eye, then vision can go real quickly. So I think it's common sense, adult supervision, start to finish, and if you follow those three things, then you should be okay. And if you're not okay, I would tell you make sure your insurance is in place.
And I would say too, I typically go down to the lake for the holiday weekend, and the fireworks down there, I would assume, are not legal. And I think it's safe to assume that also make sure you're operating as safe fireworks as possible. There are stuff out there that you just, as you said, they're like bombs. You don't need to be shooting them off.
Well, and I don't want to try to get in and say what's legal and not legal, because there are different communities have different rules.
Of course.
And there are a lot of legal fireworks. The things that you would buy at a fireworks stand should be legal. Those places are supposed to follow the law. But what's legal or not legal, I really didn't come to talk about that. It's if you're going to shoot them off, then what?
Then just be as careful as possible, no doubt about it. Well, again, you have it on your website. You can go to HughesandColeman.com/fireworks. We appreciate that you have that offering on your website. Again, keeping water around too. There was up on the screen earlier, a bucket of water nearby. That can really solve some problems.
Well, and we didn't talk about the other types of injuries, which are property damage, which can honestly be huge. You start a fire in an apartment complex, you're strictly liable again. So if you're going to shoot fireworks off, have a bucket of water around, that if something starts burning, even a person's clothing, you've got something to extinguish the fire quickly. Have a hose around, something like that. Because the same rules for causing an injury to a person, a personal injury, those same rules apply if you cause property damage. If you shoot a bottle rocket off and it lands on the neighbor's house and it goes up in flames, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars of damage real quick.
Well, Lee, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Hope you have a great 4th of July, a safe 4th of July weekend.
Thank you, Michael.
And if people have been injured in any sort of an accident, HughesandColeman.com or 800-800-4600.